Page 20, Toward the Unknown. The top of the page, they're talking about the inner, what they call inner ledger lines. The ledger lines in between the two staves on a grand staff. So in the upper staff, it's the ledger lines at the bottom. You already know middle C is one ledger line below the staff, and they're just doing some more, whatever. And for the bass clef, it's above the staff, and well, you already know middle C is one ledger line above it. And then they can add more ledger lines. That's all. In my opinion, just an opinion, you need to know the notes instantly up to 3 ledger lines above or below either staff, eventually. So when I see a note, take a look at Toward the Unknown, second line, third measure. In the right hand, you have this ugly looking chord. And that bottom note, that's the third ledger line below the staff. To me, you just instantly know that's an F. Because one ledger line is a C, 2 ledger lines is an A, they're every other note, you know. So 3 would be an F. I just instantly know that's an F. And to me, that's important. You're going to run across them. So you don't have to figure them out. You can figure them out. It's just a lot quicker if you just know them. So we have an F on that chord. That is an F and a C and a D. You just instantly know what those are. Same thing with the bass clef. The third ledger line above is a G. And so when I see 3 ledger lines above that bass clef, I just know it's a G. Now when you get more than 3 or so, then it's a little harder to see them at a glance. You kind of have to count the ledger lines. How many ledger lines is that? And at that point, then you got to figure it out. So you can figure any of them out just by, you know, it's like the bass clef. Well, that's 1 ledger line, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however high they want to go. You can figure out the notes. So we get to use some of these here. Oh, goody. Let's just go over these notes carefully. I'm going to take both hands at the same time. So at the beginning, you're starting out down here in the left hand. You have a G and a D. Make sure you know these notes, and then this chord. Well, when you're figuring out a chord, you spell out the chord. That is, you start with the bottom note, and you figure it out, and then you take the next note, and the next note, and the next note, and whatever. So in that first measure in the right hand, the bottom note is it is right below the second ledger line. Well, the second ledger line would be an A, so that's got to be a G. And if you know your intervals, you know that's a third up, which is just skip a note, and then skip another note, and that's the chord. So you got that. Good. We only spent a half hour, we got the first measure. Hey, we're doing good. Second measure here, raise the thumb up, lift the thumb up here. And then here you have a G, then it's middle C and an E, so it's here. And the third measure, we're back to these notes we had in the first measure. And then in the last measure, it's a here, and then we have that chord again, that F, C, D. And those are the chords. And those are the chords used in the first 2 lines. Last measure of the second line, you're doing the G and D together, and then that chord. Then in the third line, well, now we go up here. And now in the right hand, you have a D, an E flat, there's a flat sign, and a G. Oh, lovely. And then the next measure, it's a C, A flat. Use second finger if you want to, or thumb. And then we have a C, a D, and an F. And then the next measure, we have that D, E flat, G again. Then the left hand crosses over to play the C. Isn't that nice? Okay. And then the next measure is an F. It's a C, a D, and an F. Last line, same D, E flat, G. Then the next measure, it's the same, we've had this. Next measure, look out, move down. We have a B flat, a C, and an E flat. And that fingering's good. And then C, F sharp. And then I suggest, if you don't want to put a thumb on the A flat, second finger. C, D. Isn't that wonderful? This is going to be a great piece. The unknown is right. And those are the notes. So you have to work this out really slowly, but you want to eventually get to the point where you're glancing at these chords and you just instantly know them because you've seen them before, or you know these notes and you just... By the way, this is in 5/4 time, so once you figure out the notes, you can go count the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last two measures of the first line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isn't this fun? 4, 5. 4, 5. And you work out real slow with the rhythm. Third line down, let's look at that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. 5. Oh yeah. Now watch out on the last measure of the second line. That is a half note in the right hand. So when you do this, one, you gotta wait 2 counts instead of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you have half notes in these other measures, but we have 2 quarter notes in the left hand to keep you busy. Here we don't. It's just a half note. So don't go 1, 2, 3. That's not right. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So watch out on that one. Figure out the notes and the rhythms, and then go put in the dynamics. It's very soft, and all of this is melody. It's very soft. It's not as soft as you can play. They're softer than this, but very soft is like really soft. Do it with the hand. Don't use the soft pedal. That's cheating. Learn to do this with the hands. And then you get down to the third line. Now it's just sort of soft. It's a little louder. Not loud. And then you get down to the last line, and this is soft. It's not as soft as the beginning, but it's softer than the third line. And then you're going to get softer as you go, and you're going to slow down a little bit. You're going to end this very soft. Then you go back to the top. D, C, Al, Fine, go back to the top where it's soft. And then the Finis at the end of the second line. Just to complicate things a little more, because I know you're just dying to learn more because you're just soaking this all in. This piece seems to be in G major. But there's no sharp in the key signature. So the F's are naturals. Well, what they do here is this is called Mixolydian mode. Mixolydian mode is where the key signature provided in this case is C major. No sharps or flats. Mixolydian mode is built on the 5th step of a scale. In this case, it would be a G. So it would be like G major. Except in G major, you have an F sharp. So it lowers the 7th step of that scale. Mixolydian mode is built on the 5th step of the scale. So if I take C major and I build it using white keys only, and I go to the 5th and I play them, that's Mixolydian mode in C major. It's built on the 5th step. The idea is that's what we want to hear. That's the major scale for G major, but we have the F natural stuck in that, and that makes it modal. And so we're in Mixolydian mode here. Used a lot in jazz type stuff. You'll get Mixolydian modes and stuff. I don't teach jazz. I'm not an expert in jazz. Now on top of all that, we can add the pedal to kind of blur. We want to kind of blur all this together and make it sound, and lots of harmonics and overtones and things going on. Kind of make the tone. It's all legato pedal, just exactly the way they're showing. The only thing's not legato is at the end of the second line, you lift up, so there's a little silence before you go to the third line. And at the bottom, at the end, after you're done with that, you lift the pedal up before you do the DC, so there's a little silence there. Otherwise, you're lagging. The pedal lags behind the hand. So at the beginning, I'm going to push the notes down and then the pedal. And when I change it at each measure, I'm going to play the note first and then change the pedal. This ensures there's always sound. Get to the end of the second line. Before I go on to the third line, I'm going to lift the pedal with the hand so there's a little silence. And then we legato pedal to the end and all that. And that's really, the pedaling is pretty neat. The pedaling really adds a lot to this. It's the atmosphere of the piece. Let's play this together. Now it's marked on Dante, which is kind of a nice leisurely pace. We can take it about that, I think, can't we? We'll try it. A little slower than on Dante, but okay. I'll give us 5 counts because there's 5 beats in the measure. So go ahead and put your hands where they go and the foot's on the pedal. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. 2, 3,